What's up, everybody? We are Lisa and Greg.
What's up?
We got some pretty big news today. We started this channel because we wanted to learn about Europe because we just moved here about a year and a half. Actually, it's been almost 2 years now, I guess.
It'll be 2 years in February.
Right. And this channel has evolved, and to the point where what we've noticed is we've done a lot of German videos.
You probably noticed.
And there's a lot of reasons behind that. I'm probably one of the biggest ones is that I, for some reason, have this like infatuation with Germany. So
past life junk. I don't know. We don't know.
Something happened to the point where we've actually had people ask, is this a German channel or is this an Exploring Europe channel?
That's true.
And so what we've done is we decided that we're going to have two channels now. So we're going to have a German channel, and then we're going to have a channel Exploring Europe, probably with a pretty big emphasis on the UK and England and, places like that. Does that sound about right?
That sounds about right. So come visit us if you want to see. I know we've had some feedback of, don't do that or whatever, but we just felt like it was right. And so we go by our feeling. And if it feels right, we're going to do it. Right. So it felt like it was time. And so we created the channel. It's already up. We're going to post a video there right after this one. So like an hour after this one. So if you're watching this right away, you can go wait an hour and then go to that one, the German channel. It's called Greg and Lisa React Germany.
Yes. And we're excited because it's going to allow us to do some more things with Germany that we weren't able to do before. Like what are politics in Germany about? Things that we really are interested in. But the majority of other people on the channel will be like, why are you talking about this? Like, we don't care about this. Right. So we're excited about that. And
the same for this channel. We'll be able to dive deeper into more like UK stuff that we weren't able to before. More comedy, more shows. Right. Just a lot more of what makes the UK. Right. But also including other places we love. The Netherlands will be including Spain as well, and Belgium and Denmark, and still the Nordic countries and stuff like that. Right.
Exactly. So that was good. Was that a good explanation?
I think so.
Hopefully. If you got some questions, put it in the comments and we'll do our best to answer those. Bottom line is we're going to have two different channels. You can subscribe to both of them. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. It would be great if you did. Go. If you are predominantly interested in the German one, just go over there, subscribe, and then start liking those videos so that the algorithm automatically gets you to those videos. Because I know some people don't like to subscribe to another channel. It's too many channels to watch. Yeah. But just start kind of liking those and the algorithm will naturally get you there. Yes. And so you don't have to keep track of our two channels. It'll just bring it.
Okay. Now to today's video.
Yes.
Today's video is why do British look down on Americans?
I read the title.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I'm just taking over. Go ahead.
Why do the British look down on Americans?
Yes.
There you go.
Very nice.
Okay.
Okay. And this is brought to you by Nathaniel Drew. So Lisa will include a link in the description so you can go and show him some love. He has a great channel. So
he has a really great channel. We used to watch him. I used to watch him for sure before we even started any of these reaction videos. Yeah. So I like him.
Okay. This is going to be interesting.
Yeah.
We already know what's coming. So, what?
And this is a year old. So I know things have changed since then because the Orange Man wasn't in office yet. 70 million people didn't vote him in quite yet.
That's true. So we did not vote for him. So we just, in case that's not known.
Not obvious. Yeah. So you guys' opinions may have changed slightly, but we'll see.
All right. Okay. Let's go.
Okay.
How do you feel the British perceive Americans?
OCC.
I feel like there's quite a lot of, I hate to say it, but mockery involved.
I think a lot of people think Americans are extreme.
Do you think that the British think that they're better than Americans?
I think some do, yeah.
There's a lot to make fun of, I think.
We're also fantastic at queuing as well. That's another great thing about us.
They're rubbing me the wrong way because they're too extra. It doesn't seem like it's genuine.
Today, I'm in London to get to the bottom of a very important question. For as long as I can remember, I have had the sense that the British look down on Americans. This is a generalization, and therefore doesn't apply to everyone, but it's a strong enough trend that I felt I needed to investigate this further. Here's a quote from Prince Harry's memoir, Spare, that perfectly captures the feeling that I have about this. With some, the anti-American sentiment ran very hot. I was reminded of my childhood, when people warned me all the time about Americans. Too loud, too rich, too happy, too confident, too direct, too honest. I'm very curious what people are going to have to say about this. I have a feeling I'm onto something, okay? So, having said that, let's start talking to some people.
Isn't that interesting? It said too direct, too honest, all of that.
My thought went to Germans.
Yeah, but it also made me think that that's not necessarily true.
Oh,
I don't think a lot of Americans are very direct and very honest.
Right.
In a whole lot of their
I
lives.
think we skate around things. We act like everything's all like nice and happy and
right. And that's why a lot of Americans, probably people in general, but a lot of Americans have problems with the way Germans are very direct and honest about things.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that is interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting. But it was coming from a perspective of someone who's British. Mm-hmm. So maybe that's what he means.
Right.
Shooting a video for YouTube, could I ask you guys a question? It'll be really brief. You hate it? Okay, that's okay.
I'm sorry. Not that easy today, huh?
No, it's not. I'm wondering if I could just get a moment.
I've got too much time.
We're off to a very slow start. That's okay. Let's just change up the spot because I'm feeling like there's enough projections in that 100-meter radius.
You know, I always feel really terrible that everyone's first attitude is, oh, you're from America, are you? Oh, okay. You know, which is always a bit, you always feel a bit bad about that because I'm not entirely sure why we still do that, but you know.
How do you feel perceived as Americans by the British here in London?
A big, stupid, bellowing oaf. Yeah, genuinely. I always feel like I have to apologize for being Americans. Like, I know my accent's the worst thing you'll hear today, but can I just order a coffee?
My accent, I feel like, has been a little bit different. I think that might be somewhat informed by the fact that I'm a student here. Okay. At first, there was a bit of a learning curve. Like, when I would speak loudly on the tube, I would kind of get looks, and people would tell me, like, you're being American, like, can you maybe not?
There's definitely sort of a sense that there is a lot of difficult things going on in America, and that America potentially could be quite a difficult place to live, especially if you're of colour or from the Middle East.
I have to admit, the inspiration to make this video came when I moved to Europe. As I've explored in previous videos on this channel, many Europeans have mixed to negative views of Americans as dumb and uncultured. But to my surprise, the same goes for the British. I've come to realize that the only people that see the British as intelligent and sophisticated are the Americans. Many Europeans, like the Portuguese.
I think that's true.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's the accent for some reason.
Yeah, I mean, that's a part of it. But more than that, it's the language. It's the words that are used, which is very common for them. And, you know, for Americans, it's seen as intellectual when they're just speaking normal.
Right. Like rubbish.
Yeah.
As if rubbish is a more intellectual word
than
trash.
Or, you know.
Yeah. It's stuff like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Or autumn and fall.
Yeah.
You know, things like that. Like they say autumn.
It's like, ooh, autumn.
Yeah.
You know?
yeah, exactly. These are the Spanish see a very different reality. The British that go off on holiday to get extremely drunk and break things. The British that are isolationists.
Ooh, that is true. In Spain, we know, being here in Spain, they don't see the British people in a good light.
Right.
At all.
Right.
They see Americans in a better light than they do the British.
That's interesting. Yeah.
And we have, our British friends here haven't said anything, but our Spanish friends have. And we've heard a lot of people in Spain say that. So.
Right. Yeah. And they don't really have a negative feeling about Americans. I don't think.
Just
here
the British.
In Spain. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Brexit. The British that don't learn foreign languages, that stick to their native tongue. Wait a second, I thought to myself. That's what Americans do. Other people do this as well.
How dare they copy us?
I kid, of course. Still, it does feel like the Brits act like the Americans of Europe. But I am certain that is not something that they'd like to hear said about them. I mean, no offense. I am American after all. Does that not prove my point, though? No one wants to stoop to the level of Americans. I felt I had to get my answers directly from the source. My perception is that the UK is 1 foot in Europe, 1 foot like in the Americas. It feels like it should be in the middle of the Atlantic. Do you agree with that?
I think that's a pretty conclusive idea. I think that's definitely true because a lot of people wouldn't even class England as being in Europe. Even.
No, I'm surprised he agreed.
Yeah.
Because I see that too. especially being here in Spain, separating. We don't like. There's a whole hell of a lot of stuff we don't like about America. And you know, you would probably think we were British because we were like, yeah, Americans are stupid and blah blah blah. There are 70 million that we do think we can make fun of and do on a daily basis.
Yeah, but to ourselves, to each other.
But I just felt like the British were so separated and like hate it. Don't compare me at all. We have no choice. We're Americans. We have to say that. Yeah, we're from America. We have a tie there. So I was surprised to hear him say, yeah, we're a little bit alike.
I think one of the biggest reasons you might be surprised is because of our channel. Because we, in our comments, like the British people hate Americans.
Right.
So I kind of assume you say. And they hate being compared to Americans.
They hate it. They hate it.
And we're just talking, we haven't done any scientific research. Well, actually, our channel is scientific. So yeah, we did some research. Okay.
Right.
In England, when you talk about going to Europe, no one ever thinks you mean Doncaster. They always think you mean Germany. You do get some perception that everyone's some sort of like a Valley girl accent or something like that, and I think that annoys people quite a lot. But then again, it's the same way that English people are often perceived as all sort of being from London. You know, the American dream, making yourself better and being seen to be self-improving, and it's a lot about earning money and being the best you can and going to the gym and all these kind of things.
Do you think that's, are you saying it's positive or negative?
I think it's a positive thing for Americans, but I think the way it's perceived is often everyone goes, oh, get out of my face, because they probably, no one likes to enjoy someone else's success, at least in England anyway. I think in America it's probably very different. Oh, great, you got to...
I think to catch on what he said, you just talked about that the other day where we don't notice that we're in that rat race and trying to be the best and trying to work hard and go to the gym and blah, 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 until we leave.
Right.
And then we turn around and you look at it and you're like, oh my God, America's like so crazy. Broken.
Yeah, the American dream, for a lot of people, for us, it was a disaster. So, because we had houses, cars, we had we did nice trips, we had all of that.
Yeah, and worked ourselves to
led to some health scares and all that crap. So, but anyway.
Promotion, fucking bastards,
I think the identity of being American is like such a thing.
Right.
That I don't think other places have that as much.
I don't think people are necessarily dumb, and I don't think it's a question of being dumb. I think it's just that there's this idea of being the best. To think that people in America, depending on where you're born, you can have access to care or not, it's frightening. And I don't know how you can speak about being the best when you can't even make sure that everybody's taken care of. Are you treating everyone the same way in America? No, not everyone is treated the same way, just like not everyone is treated the same way in Europe.
Right.
Having been to America a lot, they often ask, obviously.
Every country has its issues.
Yeah, they do.
It just depends on what you're willing to tolerate or not, like what's important to you or not. For us, it was important not to be worried about guns and not to have to pay $50,000 from healthcare, even though I had a bunch of insurance.
Right.
And all of those types of things, not eating crazy food, being out of shape, overweight, even though we still got something going on here. But that's another video.
He has a joke, but just do you know the royal family or anything like that?
Yeah. So do you feel that generally, the big generalization, there's mockery towards the Americans and Americans towards the British is more like cute. We think you're cute.
Yeah, I would say that, yeah.
How do you feel about Americans thinking you're cute?
Well, it can be taken as a compliment, obviously, but if they think that we're, as a country, not really a force to be reckoned with, then just because we do all these, things that date back to long before the US was established, it's not really relevant that they can mock us for that.
Is it condescending, would you say?
A little bit.
Or ignorant?
More ignorant. It doesn't hurt me.
How do you feel Americans perceive the British, first of all?
They kind of look down on us.
You feel that?
I feel like Americans think like they're on the top of everything, and there's always competition between the two.
So do you feel like the British have a chip on their shoulder a little bit because of that?
Yeah, a lot.
What do you think the British are better at than Americans?
Being polite, really.
More polite?
Yeah. More talkative, more helpful.
More helpful? The British are more helpful?
Yeah, than Americans. But Americans are nice, they're funny, got good music.
Got good music, okay. Well, the British have good music too, man.
Americans are taking over the music scene.
But I mean, come on, there's a lot of great British music.
Yeah.
So here's the thing that I think is going.
Isn't it interesting that he thinks Americans look down on them? I think that's I think it's based on the rhetoric and how they talk, how Americans are, that they let it be known that they're the best at everything. So maybe that's what he means. I don't know.
Maybe. Because I'm trying to separate my own opinion, because my own opinion is not that. But I'm trying to think of like family members, how they think of the British, what they think of them.
Oh.
And I can see some of my family members thinking that the British are hoity-toity.
Yeah, but that's not looking
like
down
snooty.
on them. Yeah.
But is that not looking down? It's not looking down on them. You're not thinking that you're superior. They might just think that they're hoity-toity. Well, the only thing I can think of is hoity-toity.
I think that's really interesting because I would say that they would say that about probably like intellectual Americans who use big words and stuff like that. They'd be like, "Oh, you think you're too good for us?"
Right.
So, and maybe that's the perception that they think of when they think of British people. So,
I think I love the accent. I love the British entertainment field.
Mm-hmm.
I think you guys are funny. I think your music is better than the U.S., especially what I grew up listening to.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
It was all mostly UK stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
We're just giving some perspective of what people in the United States think, not our perspective per se.
I do think if I'm being brutally honest, in the comments, this is where I don't have the evidence for, but there does seem to be the rude comments, and it seems like they're from the UK.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah.
Going on here.
You can change that though. Be super positive to us. That'd be great.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
We are not the same, the Brits and the Americans, but we sure have a lot of similarities. Compare us to the Japanese or to Native Americans or to Ethiopians, and the differences between Americans and the British seems relatively small. We're like blood siblings in the village that is the globe. So here's what all of this started to make me think of. There's a concept in psychoanalysis, I'm going to read you the definition, but it's called the narcissism of small differences. This comes from Freud. The narcissism of small differences is the idea that the more a relationship or community shares commonalities, the more likely the people in it are to engage in interpersonal feuds and mutual ridicule because of hypersensitivity to minor differences perceived in each other. We see this all over the world, between the Argentinians and the Chileans, for example, between the French and the Belgians. And indeed, I think this is what is happening between the Brits and the Americans. But at the end of the day, I feel like we make the little things that make us different much bigger than they really are.
The way that we speak and the words that we use.
Yeah.
And again, we were talking about this, weren't we?
Yeah.
About
we were
certain
talking
words.
about things like autumn versus fall.
Oh,
and it was like that's often something that people like bring up, and for some, it's because it's a simpler word, and it's like fall, American.
You guys don't say fall.
No, we don't say fall. We say
interesting.
autumn.
Okay.
So this is autumn.
But you can say autumn as well. All right, before we go any further, I want to quickly thank the sponsor of this video, BetterHelp, whose support has made it possible for me to take this trip to the United Kingdom, as well.
Just so you know, we always play these because he allows us to react to his channel. So, of course, you can head on over to his channel because we have a link there if you want to support this. And you can fast forward if you like. Yeah.
As bring a videographer with me to film these interviews. These videos take a long time to concept and organize and bring to life. And I hope it's visible in the production value that I am really pouring myself into making these videos as high quality as possible. And all of this is possible thanks to sponsor support like from BetterHelp. I am a big believer in therapy. There are a lot of people in my life that have been deeply affected by therapy, myself included. And what I really like about BetterHelp is how flexible it is. First of all, there's flexibility in who you're speaking with. As in, you can freely change therapists if you're not clicking with the person that you're speaking with, which I think is super important because I feel like it's really important for me to feel fully comfortable to be able to open up with the person I'm talking to. There's also flexibility with regards to how you speak to your therapist, whether that's via text or video call, depending on what you prefer, as well as when and where, right? Because this is all remote, and so you can easily adapt it to when it fits into your schedule. Furthermore, all of this is a lot more affordable than traditional therapy. And I like that all of these things make it so that it's not something that's only accessible to the wealthy. In a crazy and chaotic and changing world, it feels important to me to be able to have access to something like this. It's easy to sign up and get matched with a therapist. I'll leave a link in the description if you want to check it out. Otherwise, you can just go to betterhelp.com/NathanielDrew. Clicking that link helps support this channel, but it also gives you 10% off your first month when you sign up with BetterHelp. Having said all of that, thank you, BetterHelp, for supporting my work. And now, let's dive back in.
All right.
Personally, when I come to the UK, I have the impression that I've come halfway across the Atlantic. I'm not just off the coast of continental Europe. And by that I mean, culturally, it feels so much more similar to the life that I had in the US. The convenience of life, the speed, the capitalism, the language.
Everyone speaks English. Everyone's like got the same sort of core values. I'm not necessarily a big Christian person at all, but we all come from this like Christian-based countries. America and Australia are English. There's some things that happen in history, but at the end of the day, we're kind of all the same group of people in that regard.
Culturally influenced.
Culturally influenced by the same group. So I personally don't see many differences at all.
I mean, I've got wonderful American friends who I adore. So that question for me is a difficult one because I think they're great, they're fantastic. Yeah. I think the differences in the way our language is, in the way we use different words, that's where there's a difference.
So pretty minor.
Yeah.
Do you think that sometimes some of the British media or the portion of the British population that looks down on Americans, is it a way to deflect some of the issues that exist here? And could that be said of all societies?
Yeah, you can say that of all societies, but you can also say that about the media. They're always distracting, aren't they, from topics, whatever it is.
Yeah. America's seen as very alpha.
Especially over there. The UK is brutal. God.
Oh, in the UK? Mm-hmm. Oh, deflecting?
Well, no. The media.
Oh.
I think. I could be wrong, but I'm just thinking of like the paparazzi and all this. I think it's like kind of crazy over there.
That is what we've heard from America.
I did a video on my football channel about Boris Beckham, who tripped a guy in the World Cup, and to the point where he got a red card and got kicked off. So they finished the game down a man, and so they wanted to hang him. It was a big deal, and the media just went crazy with it. So it can be pretty intense, but
yeah, I know, especially with all like the whole Princess Diana, everybody playing the paparazzi, and then everybody, it's only because the British people were buying into all that kind of stuff, and it's just this whole cycle. So yeah,
they're always distracting, aren't they, from topics, whatever it is.
America's seen as very alpha male, if you think about it in terms of masculine and feminine.
Yeah.
There's an alpha maleness to Americans.
I agree with that.
And maybe it's just the way they speak, the accent, but you don't really have that sense of Britain. I think there's a stereotype of the repressed male, that soft-spoken.
Considering we're like right on the edge of Europe, we have more in common with America in many ways than we do with the rest of Europe, which in theory is where we should be more aligned. And I think there's sort of something that can feel sort of slightly odd about that, like with the whole Brexit thing, breaking away more from where we're most closely connected to, and sort of being in a situation where, we're going to end up with chlorinated chicken instead.
There's this tendency to think of Americans as just, they're simplistic, really.
Are you annoyed by the Americans here in
sometimes.
I wouldn't say
depends how they are.
Now, the interesting thing is I love to drag the US through the mud and criticize it for all the things that I think it deserves criticism for, but the second the Brits start criticizing me or the US, you have nothing to say. Kind of like I can criticize where I grew up, but you aren't allowed to. And the British, in my opinion, are doing their version of the same thing, criticizing themselves to no end, but no one wants an outside opinion. Maybe we all do this. I think we all do this. It's like,
I don't know. What do you think? I think we do that. We do. Yeah, because it's almost like, when people say, like we've been saying this whole video, when people say bad stuff about Americans in the comments, we get offended and mad and all of that.
Yeah, but we can definitely say it because we, and then sometimes I think when I'll see a negative comment about America, and they'll say America. And they'll say something like, Americans are dumb or whatever. And I'll look at it and I'll be like, that's true. But
but
but I don't heart it necessarily. I don't say nothing. Yeah. But I don't know, because I don't want to give power to that, because I know not every American is dumb. We came from there. But
it's hard. It's hard for us because we have friends and family that we love and care about who are a part of the population of people who, are, I don't know,
are not who you
fit
would
some of the
make,
stereotypes.
Who does not fit a stereotype?
They fit the stereotypes.
Oh, they do fit.
So it just, and we have a lot of people who don't. And so for the people who don't, we're we know people that are not what people are saying America is. So even what we say in general about America, we know people that don't fit within that. Like if they could, they would move like we did.
Right.
But so
pointing at someone else's flooding house when your own house is on fire.
So I lived in America for 6 years. I lived in California, Alabama, and Oklahoma for 3 years. Everyone hears my accent and is like, oh, where in America are you from? I'm like, bro, I'm actually from Australia, but then they give me their little opinions on American stuff. So I've actually had to play defense a couple times since I've been out here.
Are you serious?
I'm so serious. They talk about guns or they talk about this, but they don't have like a very good understanding, not just English people, this is people around the world, even in Australia, of the history of America and why those things became what they were. People trying to, throw rocks and then hide their hands.
Yeah.
They don't want the blame to be on them, so it's easy to put it on the big superpower that is on everyone's TV.
My perception is I don't consider Americans necessarily lesser in terms of like lifestyle, culture per se. I just think it's a bit more apparent than it is in the UK, but the UK is just as problematic.
There's always sort of a sense in the past that like America was sort of, 2 decades ahead of what was happening in this country. There is a sense that we're getting closer in a time frame.
I would say younger generations tend to be a bit more, and the only word I can think of it is shameful of the heritage. I think it's a lot of things from like colonialization and things like that. There tends to be a lot more shame around it.
We're a small island, right? So we've got a small island mentality, but because we've got a small island mentality, we've got to overcome it by kind of that impression that we're the best. And I think that's changing, though. I wouldn't say it's necessarily a total reflection of society now, but I think historically it has been, of course. Let's flip the question. How are Americans perceiving the British?
My answer to that is there is a power dynamic going on, and for better or for worse, the U.S. is much more of a world superpower right now. So I don't think that the U.S. feels threatened necessarily, like competitive with Great Britain. Because of that, I think there's kind of like they're cute. You know what I mean? Like they're Harry Potter and James Bond and sophisticated and.
They use words like autumn.
Exactly. But I also think that there's also a major degree of ignorance. Like the U.S. is so self-involved. We're not even paying attention to what's going on elsewhere in the world. So there's not even enough to form an opinion, Now this video was...
That's 100% true.
I think what he said was right.
Yeah. Which part?
That all of it, really. Especially that last part where he said, that's why I don't really know. Because it's like, no, really think that because we didn't involve ourselves outside of the U.S. before before our move to even have an opinion.
That's true. I mean, it's not something that's talked about what's going on in other parts of the world.
No, I mean there's enough going on in the U.S. that we don't hear about anything else.
That's true.
Worry about anything else.
It's super unfortunate. I mean, it really is unfortunate because you just miss out on so much, of what's going on around the world, Yeah. So,
and I'm not saying that's good. It's not good. It's not good that we're so sheltered.
Yeah.
But you don't notice that until you step out.
Yeah.
And you turn around and look.
Yeah.
And,
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I know people who live in the same city their whole lives.
Yeah.
And couldn't even tell you what was going on in the city around, next over. Mm-hmm. So imagine, imagine trying to get those people to think about the world. Like, no.
Yeah. And those are the people that's why the British can make fun of us.
Yeah.
Because there are people like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's real.
It's real. True. It is real.
Definitely supposed to be in good fun. I harbor no ill will towards the British. I find our rivalries as human beings across cultures, across nations, to be comical and interesting. It's like an insight into human psychology. And despite all of the, criticizing going on here, I'd like to end on a positive note. I'd like to express my appreciation for a few things that I think the British do better than Americans. Your healthcare system, for one. Also, the Premier League. They say football was invented in England, and if that is true, as someone with Argentinian background, I can only thank you.
Did you say if that is true? That is true.
Football was invented in England, and if that is true, as someone with Argentinian background, I can only thank you. I also have to thank you for your incredible music. What a contribution to our collective heritage. It is a foreign idea to me to have a royal family, but I respect the commitment to tradition.
But I did move here the week that the Queen died. So it was really interesting to see. I think my first impression of like the British as a public was that of like mourning for their queen, you know, the 14-hour-long line to go see her lying in state. So I think it was a little bit of a shock. This might sound silly, but how procedural the British can be. I noticed that tends to be like every British person I've met tends to be very procedural, as opposed to Americans, I think, are a little bit more, like, dare I say, free-spirited or individualistic. So, I mean, I think that's not to say that one is better than the other.
And as a final note, we are obviously a world of individuals, and so stereotypes never fully work. Still, I find it's so fascinating to explore the stereotypes and cliches that we have for one another. Not always, but often there is some sort of basis of truth there, or else they wouldn't spread and persist as they do. Anyway, having said all of that, I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did, please consider liking it, which tells the algorithms to share this with more people. I thought it was fun, and it's a format I'd love to continue exploring. And also consider subscribing so that you can see more of the material that I make. With that, I hope to see you soon.
All right.
He's great.
He is awesome.
Yeah.
That was really good.
I think, I don't know. This is a lot to dive into and think about. Yeah. I know, what he was saying, they were saying earlier how how we're so alike that that's what annoys you. So like if like a father and a son are so much alike, they end up fighting all the time. Yeah. Because you see in the other person what you don't like about yourself.
Right.
So when someone does bash you, it's just what they don't necessarily like in themselves, and they see it in their culture and blah blah blah, and they don't like it. The same, we do the same thing. Yeah, it's just human nature. Yeah,
well, I mean, I will say that I'm excited. I mean, it's one of the reasons I'm excited that we're splitting our channels because this gives us an opportunity to learn more and kind of debunk a lot of the myths and everything that we have coming from the United States. Yeah. So I think, I'm excited to learn more about
the British culture.
Yeah, the British culture. And all that includes.
I agree. So, I don't think I know enough. And I was a typical American that was sheltered and didn't know. Yeah. Aside from music and actors and television and, that kind of stuff that made it over there. Yeah. And you knew more than me because I didn't know much about the music or all of that stuff. So feel free to talk to us about it in the comments. We'll talk about it. Yeah. Or go to Discord. Yes, we do have a Discord, so go and check that out. Yeah, we'll talk about it there. Yeah, too, for sure. We got a lot going on over there. Okay. All right, like the video, that would be awesome. Thanks for stopping by, and we will see you on the next video. Peace. Bye.